Hey everybody, I'm going to be doing an oil change on my 2006 Chevy Corvette. There's not too many videos out there for these cars, unfortunately, so I thought I'd help out and post up a video of how I do my oil changes myself. For those of you out there that don't think you can do it yourself, you definitely can. It's really pretty simple. The hardest thing is getting it up in the air, but I'm gonna show you my method. There's a few ways to do it, but this is the easiest way I found with the tools I have. Feel free to leave some comments down below and any suggestions, but anyway, this is what I have going on. You're gonna need 4 jack stands. I use a 16-quart oil pan. Just makes it a lot easier. You really only need an 8-quart one, but whatever works for you. Definitely makes it better, so you could go recycle the oil. You're gonna need 2 jacks minimum. The low profile jack is a must. The other jack could be low profile or whatever, but the low profile one is so that you could actually get under it and get it up in the air pretty easily. I'm using Mobil 1 synthetic, full synthetic, 5 weight 30, and my car only has about 55,000 miles on it right now, so that's what I'm still using. I'm also using K&N HP 1017 oil filter. You could get them for about $10 online, or actually on eBay is where I always buy it. And the best thing about these is that they of course have the little nut here so that they're easier to take off. But without any further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first step, using my method, I go on the driver's side of the car and I put in my low profile jack here and get the car going up in the air. So now that I have it up in the air, the suspension's pretty stiff on the Z06, so you actually get both sides up. But anyway, just have a good jack. What you want to do now is you're actually going to take your second jack and you're going to slide it up underneath the front of the car and lift it up. Of course, when you're lifting up on this side, make sure you find a good anchor point. You can find them on your owner's manual where you're supposed to lift from. And let's get the front end there now. So now I'm underneath the car here, and the best point that I like to put the jack is right in the center. If you can see that center piece there, that metal piece, that's where I lift from to get it up a little higher. That way I can get the jack stands up here on the sides and get the front lifted up. As you can see, I'm already underneath the car at this point even, and the oil filter's right there and the oil pan, so we're almost there. Alright, so now I do have it on 2 jack stands here. The inner side of the control arms. So now I don't really need this jack over here at this point, and I'm actually gonna need it for my next step on what I'm gonna do. So as you can see, the car is currently sitting at an angle, as I do have the front raised. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to raise up the rear as well. So I've got my low profile jack again, as the regular jacks don't fit of course, and I'm going to go ahead and jack up the car. Alright, so now I've got both ends jacked up, the front and rear, and as you can see, it's pretty even now, which will let us get most of that old oil out of there. Make sure you also put a couple jack stands underneath there, which is why I said you needed 4, just for safety. Jack stands are always good to use. And so I'm about to slide a couple under there and get going on this oil change. Alright everybody, so I'm underneath the car again here. Sorry if I'm a little shaky, but anyway, I'm gonna be using a 13mm wrench, ratcheting makes it a lot easier, and a 17mm wrench. The 17 will be for the oil filter, as I do use a K&N filter, and makes it a lot easier once you have that nut on there. The 13mm is of course for the 2 oil drain plugs that the Z06 does have. So the first one is right up front on the oil pan facing forward. The second one is off to the side here. You do have to undo both so you get all the oil out of there, and the oil filter is of course right there. So again, you have one if you're coming in underneath the car from the front, you'll have one on your left and one on your right. So let's get these off. Alright, so as you can see, there are two streams going right now. One's a little bit smaller. I started on that one first. Another one's a little larger. Got both of them off now. Just need to get that oil filter there, and we'll be done with the draining process. So almost there. So I just got a quick correction to the tools needed. You actually need a 1-inch socket to remove the K&N oil filter. The 17 millimeter is actually for my motorcycle. I apologize for any confusion there, but you will be needing a 1-inch. Alright, so let's get it taken off. Alright, so now I have my drain plugs back in, both of them, 1, 2, and a fresh oil filter back in there. I always turn them, hand tighten them, and then take a wrench and do a little quarter turn past it. And it always seems to work pretty good. I'm always able to get them off pretty easy and they don't leak. But now time to put some fresh oil in there. So again, I'm using Mobil 1 full synthetic 5 weight 30 on this. Only has 5,000 miles on it. It's 2006, so I'm pretty good there. The funnel is kind of hard to get in there. It's kind of in a tough spot, but you know, just be careful when you're pouring, that way you don't spill and get anything too dirty. It takes 8 quarts. What you want to do is put 7 quarts in first, and then prime the engine, and then put in your last quart. That seems to have worked the best for me. Well, not for me, but it's what's recommended to do on these. So I'll get going on that. Alright, so I've added 7 quarts to the engine. Like I said, it takes 8, but at 7 it is recommended that you prime the engine a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, first I'm gonna line the engine with a little bit of oil. As most of you know, it is a dry sump system, so oil is very important for this vehicle. So what you want to do is, you're not gonna hold the clutch, you're actually just gonna hold the gas pedal. So just press the gas pedal. Well, actually, sorry, make sure you have your key fob with you, or else it won't be too good of a try here. But anyway, so hold down the gas pedal and then press it like you're gonna turn it on, and it won't turn on because of course you're not holding the clutch. Alright, so now that you've done that, now you could actually turn it on for 15 seconds. That's about 15 seconds. Now what we're going to do is want to just add that last quart of oil, and you're good to go. You use the reverse method to get your jack stands down, and hope you enjoyed the video. This is my first video filming it on my iPhone, so I hope the quality is, you know, better than I would expect it to be. Thanks for viewing.